Hey guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome back to another deadline stream. Just let me know if you can see me and hear me. Just let me know that if you can hear me and see the screen as well. No video. Okay, let me check that. I'll also just share the screen, the stream on the Instagram channel, and then yep, we're good to go. Wildcarding this week with a free hit in hand. I think it's fine for people who want to wildcard. If you want to make 3, 4 or more moves, I don't think it's and have a wildcard in hand. It's not worth making like a -8 or -12. You can really just wildcard and then look at the games ahead accordingly. Just sharing the Instagram story for more people to join. Yep. Who should I replace Bowen with? I have Son. You can still go Kulusevski or Saka. I think those are good options. COVID rumors, yes. Van Dijk is expected to be one of the players out. Okay, let me know if you guys can see me now. I've changed something on the OBS. Should be okay. I think you guys should be able to see me right now. Yep, I think you guys can see me and can hear me as well. Prajala sent in a super chat saying, should I bench boost Jimenez, Livramento, Cody and Foster on the bench? I don't think it's worth bench boosting, especially with 36 in hand. I think you can save your bench boost for a better game week, especially with nobody on your bench having a double game week. It's better to save. I've made some fun moves, so we'll put light on that as well. I've taken a -8 and made 3 fun moves. So 2 of them were very obvious for me. I was bringing in Doherty for a Killman, which I wanted to, which was my move, and I took Kulusevski in for Rafinha. He gives me the same over fixtures, and I think with Leeds very uncertain, they can score against Norwich. I'm not denying it, but they look very uncertain in attack and in transition, and their 11 is also not set yet. So I took a punt on Kulusevski, and also because I didn't have Kane, so I wanted that double cover from Spurs. And I've taken a fun punt on Gordon. I know Ramsey gives me another player for 30, but I think if Gordon can give me a return in this week, I think it will pay off. I think the -4 and the game week 30 blank will pay off. Kane or Son. If you have Son, I wouldn't take a -8 or a huge -12 to bring in Kane this year. I think you should just hold on to Son and figure this out in game week 31. Jimenez replacement, I think I'll hold for this week. If you're going for a replacement, I think Iheanacho or go directly to someone like a Gerrard from Leeds, 4.5, save money and then upgrade your midfield. Sell Coutinho or Rafinha for Kulusevski. I would sell Rafinha first. Is Rudiger to Doherty worth it, or should I save a transfer? He could be the 9th playing player in the next week's blank. I think it's worth it, especially given the fact that he plays one more fixture and gives you the double game week this week. So if it's not for a hit, I think it's okay. I would be very comfortable doing Rudiger to Robertson. I think that's more of a fixture move that would pay off because of the double game week. I know they're both blank in 30, which is also fine. And the fixture after 30 is more favorable to Robertson. So that is something I would do if I was there. Play on from Cody, Watkins and Broha. I would play Watkins. This week I would play Watkins. Will Cancelo start? There's no news on Cancelo. Pep was very uncertain whether he will play or not. He did not give any news of it. So I don't know if Cancelo starts. By the looks of it, if he trains once, I think he should be okay to start. Lacazette or Kane, have to have Kane. Even for captaincy, I think Kane is good enough. Wildcard this week or save it for later. If you're making 5 or 6 changes this week, I think it's worth wildcarding because there's a huge template shift. So you might want to just do it this week. For everyone asking, if you are on wildcard, probably have Trent or Robertson, have Salah in your team, have Gordon, Saka, Son, Kulusevski, Coutinho as your potential midfield. Forwards, I would go for Gerrard from Leeds. I would either pick Adams or Broha. and go with Kane up top. I think those are the template picks, and then you can shuffle around with the difference. Bowen to Kulusevski or Vargas to Lacazette. I already have Son. I'd go Vargas to Lacazette. I think that fixture is more goal scoring, especially with Leicester. I think Leicester is a fixture that Arsenal like to target and score goals against. Doherty for Varane, I would do it definitely. James to Robertson for a -8. I think it pays off because James, we don't know if he plays or not. Even after he comes back, I think it pays off. Is it worth getting Rafinha over Mount? Over Mount, I don't think I want to do the Mount to Rafinha move this week. If you have Mount, just hold him. If you have Rafinha, just hold him. I wouldn't sell or buy either of them. Help with wildcard plans. Wildcard and plans. Ramsey, Robertson, Trent, Doherty, Salah, Saka, Gordon, Kulusevski, Kane, Lacazette, Richarlison. Benches, Cody, Amarte, Ramsey. Richarlison is the only difference in 29, 27. Okay. Upgrade Gordon 32, Cody to Laporte and 33. Dexter, it looks perfectly fine to me. Those are the template picks you want to go to. I think if you can somehow get in Coutinho in that midfield, that would be better. It pays off. If not, that's not necessary. And I think if you're not bench boosting 36, I think you should use free hit there, and that should be your plan. Should I sell Havertz? Absolutely not. I think he looks great. You should start him as well. There could be some doubts on rotation, but I don't think that should stop you from starting him or owning him at all. Kane / Lacazette, Dyer / Gordon, Odegaard / Martinelli. Kane, I think Gordon and Martinelli. Those would be my choices. Jota to Kulusevski, James to Robertson, and Cash / White to Doherty. If yes, which one? I would do Jota to Kulusevski and James Robertson for sure for a -4. The third move is uncertain. I wouldn't sell Cash or White either. I think White has a double game week, Cash is a good fixture, so I would hold both of them. If I would sell White for only one reason, that selling White gives you the ability to buy someone like a Saka or a double Arsenal attack later on in the game if you don't have Ramsdale. If you don't have Ramsdale at all, then don't sell White, sell Cash. Basically, it's better to double up on the Arsenal attack or set yourself for a double Arsenal attack for their future games and their double game week than having a double defense. I don't think the double defense is providing any value at the moment. Is -12 worth it for bringing Kane, Kulusevski, Gordon, Doherty in? No, it's absolutely not. I think you can avoid, at max, take a -4 if necessary. I think for Kane, that should be Kane and Gordon maybe probably. That's fit those two in and you can stick to a -4. I don't think -12 really would pay off a lot. I've taken a -12, happy with my team. Should I just fire? Probably you should. I think -12 is... You won't make a lot of gains even if you make that moves. Unless the rest of your teams, which you didn't change, outperforms your moves totally. Triple captain this week, Kane or Salah, or say for next double game. We have free hit and bench boost available. So if you have free hit and bench boost or those chips available, it's better to triple captain this week. I think Salah is still a safer triple captain, especially in comparison of Kane, for two reasons. He gets the extra point for a clean sheet, he gets the extra point for a goal. And Salah has been decent on terms of bonus points this season at all. He's getting those 1-2, 1-2 eventually. So I think Salah is the guy if you're triple captaining this week. And if you have free hit and bench boost, especially bench boost available, you got to triple captain this week. Coutinho and Kilman to Kulusevski and Doherty for a -4 or just Kulusevski. I think this Kulusevski is fine. Worth taking -8 for Ramsey to Gordon. It's totally up to you. I wouldn't really recommend someone that you should be doing this move. I've taken it for the exactly same -8. It's more of a fun pick for my side. I'm not really into a lot of leagues that I can either win or a lot of leagues that I can lose right now. So I'm in a very safe position and taking this -8. If you're chasing rank or something, don't do it. I don't think it's necessary, especially with Gameweek 30 where Ramsey has a fixture and Gordon doesn't. Iqbal has sent in a super chat saying best defender for 5.4. That's not Doherty. Already have Trent, White, and Robertson. Now that's a good question. If I had to, I would stick to Cash or Digne. I think those are the two good defenders you can go there, and that should be fine. If not, you can still go to Region. That's also fine, but I wouldn't recommend doubling up on Spurs if you have Doherty, or if you don't want the Spurs defense. That's totally fine as well. I think I'd go for the Aston Villa defense right now. And if you look at the long-term defense, it has to be the Chelsea guys. So someone like a Chalobah or Thiago Silva. Those would be the picks. Choose two to start Rudiger, Adams, Carr. I think I'll start Rudiger and Adams. What are your moves this week? I discussed earlier. I think I've made 3 moves: Gordon, Kulusevski, and Doherty. Broha hold. Yes, he's still a hold. He's been very poor. So a lot of speculation of Broha being benched. No. So the forums from Southampton and most fans believe that he should be benched and he will be benched for two reasons. He's been playing a lot of minutes recently. He played 2 days ago and 3 or 2 days before that as well. So he's having a lot of minutes and he played the FA Cup, which was when a lot of people expected him to get benched. I think he missed out. Oh, he got benched then and he did play some minutes there, and then he played 2 consecutive games. So can't really rely on him completely getting benched, but his performance have been poor. So I think there could be a situation where Long or just someone up top, maybe an Armstrong, a change up top could be given to someone else. Especially with the thrashing last week, I think Southampton will change, and they've lost 2 games in a row. I don't think. Unless they've hit a beach and they're like, we really don't care about our position in the table and we're very safe. I think they will change Bruja and just get someone else. How much is better? How much better is Kane than Son? Huge in terms of stats, in terms of value and captaincy. He's way ahead than Son at the moment. Update on Gray and Virgin van Dijk. I posted an injury update table on Instagram. Go check it out. It's really useful. You will have a look on it and you'll understand who's fit, who's not, and who's a doubt. Kulusevski, Reza, I think Kulusevski. Ramsdale or Dubravka don't start in the Ramsdale. I think I'll start Ramsdale. With David out, should I captain Kane or Salah? That shouldn't be a reasoning to captain someone. I think with David out, I think still Henderson is a very good keeper. In fact, he was a huge reason why Sheffield United were very good defensively. I wouldn't really take that into consideration while captaining someone. Rafinha to Kulusevski, already have Kane and Doherty. Seems fine. I wouldn't really very strongly triple up on Spurs this week. I think the fixtures are slightly tough for them, but up to you. Have all chips available, best one to use this week, or if you have all chips available, I think you need to use triple captain this week. You won't have better options than this week. Anuj Segar sent in a super chat saying Ramsey to Kulusevski, Coutinho to Saka. I would do those moves, especially Coutinho to Saka. That would be my priority move. Ramsey to Kulusevski is a free upgrade. If you can afford, you should go for it. Harshit sent in a super chat. I have ASM in my team. Will he play starting? I don't think he starts this one again. He's not really very fit. As far as I've read, he was not in training as well, not like team training. So if you have a bench player, and especially it's against Chelsea, so I wouldn't mind selling or benching him either ways. Play 2, Rafinha, James Ward-Prowse, cash. I would play Rafinha and I think James Ward-Prowse because he plays Watford. Those would be the team. If you don't want to play Rafinha, you can go cash, but I would play safe with 2 midfielders over a defender. 2 between Saiz, Coutinho, Broha. I would Coutinho and Saiz. I would take a punt on Broha maybe. I think Everton at home can score, so if I was in your situation, I would take a punt. But I would be prepared for Broha being benched, and that would be okay. When is the second best free hit? Where is the time for the second best free hit? I'm planning to use it in 30 and then wildcard in 34, bench boost in 36. 33 is also a decent time to free hit. 32 will also be a decent time to free hit. It's not necessary. If you have 9 players or 10 players, 10 is a lot. If you have 8-9 players for 30, I don't think, or maybe with the -4 you can get up to 10. I don't think there's a need to have a free hit there. I don't think there's a lot of gains possible in Gameweek 30. Gray is fit, Virgil van Dijk is not. He could be out with COVID. That's the update. Adams or Jimenez start? Oh, that's a tough. I would start Adams. I think Watford are really poor, so I would take up Adams, and he's guaranteed to play. I've bench boost triple captain 1 free hit chip available. What strategy should I go for? You triple captain this week, bench boost in 36, and use free hit in 30 or 33. I think, especially, I would prefer 33, and that would be your chip strategy. Lacazette versus Adams versus Tony. I would play I would prefer Lacazette and Adams over Tony, both over Tony and Lacazette over the other two. I want to keep Rudiger for the later game week, so is Doherty for Dime worth it? I think it's still worth it even for Dime. Lacazette or Martinelli? I think Lacazette. I mean, how much ever you expect him to get goals, and he's on penalties as well, but he's been getting those constant assists recently, and he's been getting involved in points. That's all it matters. Why take Gordon for a fun punt? I think Gordon, he's the cheapest asset. Ramsey could be benched as well, so if he's getting benched anyways in this week and the next one, and I'm not using him anyways, and he doesn't look good as well, so why not just take a punt on someone who's 4.5, who's cheaper and will play for sure. That's the reason behind Gordon, nothing else. I have free hit and triple captain. What should be my strategy for the next game week? Uh, what should be your strategy for Game Week 30? Game Week 30, use free transfers if you can. If you can field up to 8, 9, 10 players, that would be the best scenario with the -4. And free hit in Game Week 36. Triple captain could be 33 or 29. I think 29 is fine. If you don't have bench boost, you can free hit in 36. In case sort of you don't have enough players for Game Week 30 and you have just 4 or 5 players for Game Week 30, and you are in a situation where you're forced to play free hit next week, or you're planning to free hit next week, then I would recommend you to save your triple captain and use it in 36. Is sent in a super chat saying Dubravka, Foster, Trent, Kilman, White, Rudiger, James, Ramsey, Salah, Son, Gordon, Rafinha, Kane, Roha, Hwang. Transfer pick, starting lineup, and captain choices. I would take out James for sure. Buy either Doherty, uh, because it allows me a lot of funds. If you have two free transfers, do James to Doherty, upgrade Broha or Hwang to a Lacazette, and buy Saka in your midfield. I think for Ramsey if you can, or Rafinha depending on the budget you have. So my priority two moves would be James to a Doherty, uh, Ramsey to Osaka, and then depending on the funds I have and the transfers I have, Broha or Hwang to maybe most likely Hwang, or actually no, if you're not freaking, maybe Broha or Hwang, whoever you decide to, Lacazette, and I think I would captain Salah and play safe. DCL and Gray likely to start. Gray is DCL is in. I can't be sure on both to be honest, but only one of them is expected to start according to a lot of lineups. Have been, want to save, but still want to save triple captain. If you have bench boost and free hit left, I don't think you'll have a better game week to triple captain. You can think of 37, but that will be very late, and they could have a lot of rotations and everything, and teams might not have a lot to play for. I am saving because I will be very interested to triple captain someone from City or Chelsea. I'm okay with triple captaining someone from Leicester as well if the fixtures are great or if they get a triple game week. So in my case, I'm okay with it. If you're very stringent that you want to captain someone like a Salah or of that strategy, I don't think you'll get a better game week to triple captain someone. I think if you're looking for Salahs for triple captaincy, this is the week. Coutinho, Rafinha, Coutinho, Liverpool league lineups. That we will try and get some around the deadline. Can't really be sure of. We'll try to get some news. Virgil van Dijk news is apparently that he's out with COVID. I'm checking news, but I don't see anything. James Doherty for 1 week for a -4. For 1 week, I don't think it's worth it. Just bench him and play someone else. If you're looking for a 1 week punt, I think Robertson is the better 1 week punt. Smith Rowe news, he's back in training. He's fit enough. I don't know if he's fit enough to being put in the 11. I think he'll be on the bench. I don't see him starting in the 11, even if he's completely fit. I think Martinelli has got that position and he starts that position. I don't think there's going to be rotation there. Son or Kane, bro, please help me out. I think Kane. Kane, if you're buying someone, Kane, I think he will outscore Son the remaining game week. So I think Kane. Worth keeping Cancel on Wildcard for long term, I don't think it's worth it. His fixtures are Crystal, where he's a doubt. Blank, I'm not sure who plays. Burnley, I think in 31, 32 Liverpool. So I don't think you want him in the next 4 games apart from Burnley. So it's better to sell him off on Wildcard and then buy him back, or maybe think about what strategy you want in 33, especially with rotation ahead. And if they go ahead in the UCL, I would be very skeptical that he starts the game in the Premier League once the league is done. So not worth it in my opinion. A Leicester defender who is certain to start, so unsure, but I don't think it's worth it. Absolutely not worth it. Kilometer Doherty for a -8. I think avoid if you have a bench player. No chips left except for triple captain. Should I use it? If you want to only captain someone like Salah, use it this week. If you're okay with captaining someone like a City or Chelsea players, knowing that there could be rotation, save it for 36. Have both Diaz and Bowen and 2 free transfers. Should I sell them and get Kane and Son by taking -4? I think you should. Virgil van Dijk and Alisson double up. Virgil van Dijk is a doubt. He hasn't been pictured in training. He could be out with COVID. Alisson, I don't think he is worth the 6 million price bracket. Triple captain Kane is a good option, especially for people who are looking for something differential, want to gain huge rank jumps. I think Kane is the guy this week. It could be Son as well. I wouldn't really rule out Son in terms of outscoring Kane this week. I think it's completely possible, and Son can totally outscore Kane this week. Yeah, Konate is out due to an injury. Virgil van Dijk, Thiago are the two people who are not pictured in training and could be the ones with COVID. Ramsey, Dubravka, Trent, James, Kilman, Tierney, Davis, Mosala, Gordon, Havertz, Coutinho, Rafinha, Jimenez, Broja, Kane. That's a great team, to be honest, to be start with. Aman, you can move out Rafinha or, in fact, Rafinha to Saka. I think that's one move you want to do for sure, and a Kilman to Doherty, and that could set you up. If you have a lot of fun, James to Robertson instead of the Kilman move is something you want to look at out as well, especially if you have Davies. So your moves would be James to Robertson, and I think Rafinha to Saka. Those would be the two moves. Actually, yeah. If you have Kane, that could be fine. That could be fine. If I think you need a Arsenal covering that team. Lots of asking questions about Saka or Kulusevski. You can address it to everyone. So if I had to pick one solely between Saka and Kulusevski, I think Saka is the better one for two reasons. He is more of in form, and he plays a team which is very weak on their left flank, and in general are very poor in terms of defensive stats. They play Leicester their first game. The second game they play is also Liverpool. Now with the entire situation where Liverpool have a COVID outbreak, basically have two or three main players missing out of which one of them is Virgil van Dijk and the second is Thiago. It defensively does shake them, and Liverpool have a tendency of conceding goals. I think everything at the moment is going through Saka. 70% of the chances are going either through Lacazette or Saka. So between the two in isolation, Saka is way above Kulusevski. I don't think it matches it. Buy Kulusevski only if you can't afford Son plus Kane. So if you had to pick one, you pick Kane in my opinion. If you're picking Son, that's your call. And then the second pick should be Kulusevski only if you want to double up on the Spurs attack. I don't think it's necessary, but if you want to looking at the fixtures, which is totally fine, then you go Kulusevski. You have to prioritize. You have to prioritize Saka in your team. Start Saiz or Jimenez. I think Jimenez, he is an attacker. I think he starts and plays well. Should be in form and is on penalties. Is this the last double Salah will get? No, he could get one more double. Start Cody or White already using Ramsdale instead of Dubravka. I think still start White. Go for the double game week. Dipanshu has sent in the team. I have Adams, Havertz and Saiz on the bench. I would put in Adams. Ahead of Jimenez in that team. In fact, even ahead of even ahead of Digne. I think Adams over Digne, and Havertz. I would take a punt on Havertz and Jimenez. It's your call. I would play Havertz and Adams both over Digne and Jimenez, or even Digne and Rafinha. That's your call. Will Scar play? He could be playing the second game week. The first game week is slightly in doubt, but as far as I've read, he should be fine to start the game tomorrow. Thoughts behind your moves? My moves are very simple. I'm going Doherty because it gives me a player in the next week, and Kilman is not nailed on anymore. Bolly, I always knew, and when we were discussing the wildcard, I mentioned this as well that when Bolly is back, which he was back in training then, Kilman's position will be in a doubt, which happened this week. It was due to rotation and rest, as Bruno said, but again, I can't really bank on that. So I went Doherty there, wanted to pick. I went Kulusevski because I can't afford Kane. I want to double up on the Spurs attack just to safeguard myself from the rank damage. And the third move is a fun move because I didn't want Ramsey. I think he will get dropped, and if he's not giving me a game next week as well, so might as well just take a punt on Gordon. At home, he's involved in almost 45% of the goal involvements are through Gordon, and he's first for shots shot inside the box, penalty touches area, XGI, and looks absolutely good when the Everton team plays. And even Lampard praised him. He's the only person who Lampard was happy with even in the 5-0 loss against Tottenham. Lukaku start or not? A lot of people expect Lukaku to start this one. Ramsey out to Martinelli for a -1. I would do it. I am not expecting Ramsey to start, so I think it's a good move. Akshay Pandey sent this thing, I think, quite a couple of times. -8 to take Ramsey, Dallo, and Rafinha out and bring Doherty, Saka, and Kulusevski. I also have Son but want Kane worth the -12. I don't think it's worth the -12. -8 still looks really logically good because everyone has a double game. We can look good enough. Livramento, Dini or Kilman want to start? I think I would start Livramento. Kilman to Doherty for -1. I would do it. I wouldn't be shy of it. Should I go for Smith Rowe for 5.9 in the bank? Over Smith Rowe, I think I would prefer Odegaard because he's nailed on to start the next one. Smith Rowe is not nailed to start. First of all, even if he starts, I don't think he starts more than one game. So I think Odegaard is the guy. Rudiger is expected to start. Richarlison for Broha for a -1. It's a very tough call, to be honest. If you're okay with fun picks, I think you should go for it. I think he is the only sane player apart from Gordon that looks decent and is nailed on to play. But ideally for long term, I wouldn't want it. Also for the Gordon pick, another thought that I had is I've played my wild card, so I'm going to keep Gordon. Also because in 32 they again have a double game week where Gordon comes into use, especially when Salah and Trent have tougher fixtures. They play City. 15 minutes to go, so so apparently there won't be any news from Liverpool. We're not really expecting a team leak here. I'm still texting someone if he. But it's very unlikely that we get Liverpool news. Broha out. I wouldn't sell him again. Broha could absolutely start, but we're speculating and reading, and Broha is not really expected, but it's totally up to you. Kulesaski, White, and Jimenez for a -8. For a -8, I wouldn't do it. It's a tough call. For a -8, I don't think it's worth it. Especially when I wouldn't invest in the Arsenal defense. Again, Vatsal have answered Liverment over the other two. Kane or Salah is a decent option this week, especially for chasing. If you're not, I think Salah still manages it well. Do I play bench boost with Foster, Rudiger, Cody, and Ramsey? I don't think you should. Um, all of them have single game weeks, and Ramsey isn't even expected to start. So I think you should hold on to it and not play that. I think bench. If you've not played your bench boost last week, I think, or if you don't have double game week players on your bench this week, I think your bench boost best game week to play your bench boost is game week 36. I don't think there's a better game week. In Newcastle player, I wouldn't really invest Newcastle players. Fraser is the only option I'm going near to or thinking of. Apart from that, I wouldn't invest in anyone. Broha or Jimenez, I would play Jimenez. Pukki or Joe Linton, I would still pick Joe Linton. I think they look better as a team. And Kane or Salah, again, I've answered it if you want to go differential only. Play James Ward-Prowse or Broha. James Ward-Prowse. Liverment or Rudiger, I would bank more on Rudiger in terms of defensive stats and everything. So Rudiger. -8 David Dea to Digne to Doherty Ramsdale. David Dea, Digne to Doherty and Ramsdale, or -4 Ramsdale. That's a tough -4. I think you should do it. Don't view David Dea to Ramsdale as a -4 because it's a forced move. It's not really a luxury move, and Ramsdale will play the 2 games for sure, and David Dea plays 0. So it's a fine -8 to be honest. Ariman has sent in a super chat. Worth keeping James on wildcard. Best midfielder 4.5 on wildcard. I think Odegaard is just over 4.5. Martinelli could be the second option. Honestly, if you're looking for a budget fifth midfielder, I would go Gordon this week. And James, I think I wouldn't keep him. Get someone like a Robertson this week if you can afford, or maybe someone cheap. Matip is fine. I wouldn't keep a space, or even Laporte. Even placeholding Laporte is fine or Rudiger for the sake of it. I don't know if James comes back in 31 and starts playing regularly again. That's a very huge doubt around him. Odegaard is 5.5, so I would think I go Gordon. Mope, someone's asking Mope versus Liverpool, Tottenham, Cancelo versus Crystal, Willock versus Chelsea, Everton. Which 2 out of 3 to start? I think Willock and Mope. Or maybe you can start Cancelo and Mope. If Cancelo doesn't play, Willock will come in, so that could be a good thing as well. Liverpool have another double game week. Yes, possibly they can, but that's going to be a tougher double game week with Manchester United and probably Tottenham in that double game week. No Saka or Martinelli, very bold guy. No, I do want Saka. Unfortunately, this week I am stuck with some. I would have made the Saka move for sure if I could afford it. So I'm stuck with the double Arsenal defense. I'm planning to switch this around in game week 31, where I will remove White to White, Son, and probably Jimenez to Kane, Saka, and someone. So that's planned. That's in pipeline. I would have done that this week. Unfortunately, can't do it. That is the reason I've bought in Kulusevski, at least to cover the uh, Spurs attack if not, if possible. Fraser or Gordon or Saka or Martinelli. I think Saka. Ramsdale, play Ramsdale or Dubravka. It's still a better defense to start with. I think they can keep a clean sheet against Leicester, if anything at all. Whom to start between Jimenez and Willock? I would start Jimenez. Actually, I would still take a punt on Willock. It's not a bad game week, and they have a second fixture against Everton. You can take a punt on Willock. I think. I wouldn't be very confident in Chelsea keep a clean sheet. We have looked shaky, and especially with everything going outside with the club outside the pitch, it could affect the players. Spurs United predictions. I'll be posting my predictions soon after the stream. Dine Broha, Kilman, Ben Chilwell. Okay, yes, totally fine. Salah or Son. I would be very tempted to triple captain Son, but to be honest, if you're triple captaining someone, it has to be Salah. He's looked decent. His form has deteriorated. For a lot of people, will say that Salah is permanent form. I don't think he has been missing those chances where he was scoring in the past in this season. So I can see the form drop, but again, it has to be Salah. He's on penalties, and that sways it for him. Son, Jimenez, Kilman, Kulusevski, Kane, Doherty for -8. I would do it if you want Kane for sure. Start Saiz or Rudiger? I would start Rudiger. Kulusevski to Coutinho for -4. I would do it, yes. Broha or Livramento for me. I think I'll start Livramento this week. Lacazette for Mope worth the -8. I think it's worth it. I know Mope has the double gaming, but Lacazette gets you another fixture in 30, and he looks like more involved in the game. Mope had a poor performance, could get dropped as well. There's 10 minutes left. Start Saiz or Rudiger? I think Rudiger. James was to which Arsenal defender? I wouldn't really get the Arsenal defenders. I don't think they're worth it. They look really poor in terms of defensive numbers as well recently. Decent against poor teams, but again, good attacks, they have looked shaky, so I wouldn't invest there. Is there any news or anything? Sanchez or Gun for the keeper want to start? I think Sanchez, he has a double. I prefer having double because they give you more chances to get points. That's more route to points basically. Early team news, still no team news. Okay, we have still no team news. There's 9 minutes left. Thoughts on Coutinho to Saka for -4? I would do it. Absolutely do it. Ramsey or Cancelo, who should be your first on the bench? Cancelo. Cancelo should ideally be in your lineup unless he's been benched ahead of a double game week player. Sell Van Dijk, yes, I will Doherty start both. Now there are new. If he starts the United game, he will definitely start the Brighton one. Now the only doubt is versus United, but I think he starts with his performance. How long is Bowen injured? He's out for 2 weeks, which makes him out for game week, the last game week and this week. The last week and this week, so should be fine for 30. If at all he misses at max 30, he'll be fine for 31. Dinian Coutinho to Doherty and Kulusevski, it's fine. I think Coutinho to Kulusevski is slightly a tougher move, especially against West Ham, where West Ham have looked weak on the on the right flank, but I would do it. Kulusevski, yes. Broha or Dine? Again, Dine. Start Broha or put Saiz in. Take Saiz. Ideally, I would start Broha if I knew he would starting, but with the doubt, I would not take a risk. Start Dine or Vergost? I think I start Dine. Whom should I start? Cancelo or Broha? Cancelo. Kilman or Dine? I would start. I think I'll start Dine. Take my chances there. Without Bowen, they don't look really appealing, so I would take a chances on Dine. I think Dine can keep a clean sheet this week. Do you prefer Salah or Kane captain? For captaincy, I do prefer Kane more, but just to go safe, if you want to protect your rank, I think Salah is the guy. Why do you have a doubt for Broha? So apparently all Saints fans and Southampton forums and everyone expects Broha to be benched, and he has looked really poor in the last 2 games. In fact, the last 3 games, and he has been playing a lot of minutes. So it makes all sense to have him on the bench this week and change stuff, especially when Southampton have lost 2 games in a row. Arsenal have 3 games in 6 Sundays, which is the first time in the season. I don't think it should be a worry because they have been having a lot of rest, and it's okay for teams to. I mean, teams do manage the December period as well, and most teams are used to it and playing the same lineup. Dennis or Cancelo? I'll start Cancelo and keep Dennis on the bench. Will Cancelo start? There's no guarantee of him playing. If he's out of the game, so your bench will come into play. Rudiger or Adams to bench? I would bench. That's actually a tough one. I would take my chances on benching Rudiger, play Adams. Watford have looked poor, so I would take my chances there. Rafinha to Coutinho for -4, -8. I wouldn't do it this week. David or Foster? You have to play Foster. David is out of the game. He's not starting. Why Salah over Kane for triple captaincy? Penalties for a midfielder. So that's there. For one more point for goal, one more point for clean sheet, and that's it. That sweeps it off. And more importantly, Liverpool are more lethal in terms of attack as compared to Tottenham. So that just puts it down there for me. Van Dijk replacement don't have excess cash. You downgrade to the Chelsea defender. If you don't want to go down, get to Doherty. If you don't want that as well, I think you can get someone like Cash or a Dine. That's it. I think those are the decent options out there. But I think Rudiger, someone like a Thiago Silva should do well. Any leak news? We'll check my phone. 5 minutes left. Apparently, there won't be any leak news. We'll still try. Yeah, doesn't look like any leak news. I I still want to change my captaincy to Sun. I have a feeling that Sun outscores and scores more points this week, but just the fear of Salah not having enough EO to match other people is just killing me. First and second sub out of Broha and Digne first sub in my opinion. Coutinho and Rafinha for Saka and Kulusevski. Coutinho and Rafinha out for Saka and Kulusevski. I think those are good moves. I would do it. Not from -8 to 12 or 16, but I would ideally do it if I had two transfers. I would do them, or just a -4. I would do them too. Digne, Broha, Kilman bench order is fine. I don't think the bench order would really come into play this week. Rafinha, Jimenez, Digne, which one to bench? Or bench Digne. Take a chance. Tony or Jimenez. I think Tony is a decent option this week. Maybe even over Jimenez. Get not so sure why you so pro on Sun for captaincy. You will see in the game why I'm so pro on Sun. I really think that Sun this week scores more. I'm just captaining Salah out of the fear of the EO. I don't think Salah is the best captaincy. No Virgil van Dijk, less chances for Liverpool clean sheet. Yes, definitely less chances for Liverpool clean sheet. I wouldn't captain a Liverpool defender this week. I already expected Arsenal to score. I think even I wouldn't be surprised if Brighton scored against Liverpool. Salah, Livramento, Rudiger, Jimenez bench boost. I think it's a decent lineup to bench boost. Is there any news? Apart from Dean Henderson, there's no news. Play Foden or James Ward-Prowse? I play Foden, I think. Play the City attackers. But if Tottenham scores goals, it's either Son or Kane. Whereas in Liverpool, it could be any of the front three. That's true. That's there. That's always there. But if you look at the percentage involvement, you know that Salah has 29 involvements, which is 29 or 30 involvements, which is great. Start Digne or Broha? I will start Digne. There are 3 minutes left. We'll just check my team as well. Refresh it once and set my team. I tried using the... Somehow it's not working. I'll link it up for you people next week. I tried using the away jersey plugin. It doesn't seem to work on my PC somewhat. I don't know what is the problem. We'll try to post my team in the away jersey this week. Digne or Livramento? I would start Livramento this week. Start Digne or Broha? Digne. Dennis or Broha? Dennis. Broha, again, you can start him. It's up to you. I know it's a better game week. I'm not saying that he cannot score even from the bench. I think it's a game week where he can score, but just because I'm not sure of him starting, I'm picking over like Digne and Livramento over him. My team is Ramsdale, White, Trent, Doherty, Gordon, Coutinho, Salah, Son, Kulusevski, Lacazette and Jimenez. Jimenez or Coutinho? I would pick Coutinho in this situation. Foster or Ramsdale. Kaushik has sent a super chat. Have Kane and Salah captain. I think Salah. I have to stick with the safer option. Is Livramento nailed? Yes, he's nailed. I think he's nailed. There's no doubt about him. Is there anything? There's 1 minute left. I'm still contemplating the Salah and Sun move, but I stick to Salah. I think it's not worth the hassle. Sun is not in his top form. I think Sun can outscore him, but not worth the risk this week. Starting to Coutinho, Adams, Jimenez. I think I'll start Adams and Coutinho. Looking at form, Hank starting this week. Yes, Madison or Gabriel. Madison. Bench on Vergos, Ramsey, Williams, Ramsey. Jimenez to Rafinha, Jimenez or Rafinha who to start. I'll start Rafinha out of the two. Bowen to Kulusevski and James to Robertson for a -8. -8 is still huge, but for those players, I would still take it. Bro, you should do Salah. I think Salah is going to bang this week. Yeah, I'm doing Salah and also the EO fear because if I don't captain him and he bangs a lot, I'm essentially losing a lot of the ground. So I'm okay with Sun scoring. Anyways, he's on less effective ownership on my area. Should be fine. Bench boost, Broha, Adams, Rafinha, Dubravka. I wouldn't actually play Adams and that's fine. Rafinha, Ramsey, Jimenez, Broha, Cody, Dine with 3 to play. I would play Rafinha, Jimenez, and Dine. Play Cancelo, Region, play Region. I think the double game week, and that's it. That's it. That's the deadline, guys. Again, a mad, crazy deadline stream. Yep, I'm hoping that Gordon does something. It will be fun to watch him score or assist. He's been highly involved in terms of home games, so I'm expecting something from Everton this week. Dexter says, please eat my following chats. Okay, we'll stay for Dexter's chat and then we'll wrap it up. Uh, thanks a lot, Mohit. Also, people, before leaving the stream, do hit the like button. A lot of you will join the stream and don't like it. Please hit the like button. It really helps us share the stream to a lot more people and it helps the algorithm to push our content. And do subscribe to the channel. Current team is Ramsdale, Robertson, Trent, Doherty, Salah, Saka, Gordon, Kulusevski, Kane, Lacazette, Richarlison, Cody, Amarte, and Ramsey. Strategy 30, Richarlison to Hang or a 4.6 forward. Which one I will have 9 players in 30 if the latter. Okay, give me 30 Cody to James, 32 Trent to Laporte, and Gordon to Chelsea attacker, 33 free hits. Suits, if you have only one free hit, I think free hit in 36 suits better. I think you'll have enough. You'll have a triple Arsenal, you'll have Spurs, and that should be fine. If you could do two things instead of Huang, maybe go for Gel Hard, if that's how he pronounces it, the Leeds 4.6 forward. I think he's constant. He could be starting this week, and he could get a constant position in the team. So that could be an option. And apart from that, James, I don't know if he's fit enough. If he's fit, then it's a fine move. And 33 should be Trent to Laporte ideally, and not 32. That apart from that, everything is fine. But if you have bench boost, then that's sorted. 36 is bench boost, and then 33 is free hit. Make sure your moves from 30 to 33 are in for 36 bench boost, because once you free hit, you will lose a certain transfer and you will not get an opportunity as well. Good luck for 36, 29 game week, 29 Anuj. Yes. Which game week to wildcard? I think 31 or 34. Both are equal. Billy Thomas start in 30. He's expected to be starting. I think James Justin is back, but I don't think he'll be put in directly into this game week. 30 could be a doubt. Yup. Thank you guys for joining. We'll wrap it up. Again, hope it goes well for everyone. And we'll see you in the next stream. This is FP Tip signing off. Cheers.